People in my life frequently tell me that my style of fashion is trash, and to be honest, I don't really know what they mean. Of course, this hurts my feelings, so I decided to get serious and get good at fashion. So, after an entire week of playing Dress to Impress, these are my results. Let's see them make fun of me now. Ooh, old habits, I guess. But getting serious here, my sister and my girlfriend have been playing a lot of Dress to Impress recently, and they've wrapped me into their play sessions, so I have actually been playing it. And I don't want to hear, Shoko, why are you playing a girl's game? Shut up! I do what I want, and what I want is to style on these 8-year-olds. And if Queso can do it, so can I. Anyways, after a couple of weeks of playing with them, I did notice my real life clothes are all very casual and kind of trash, so I went shopping. And I felt like I had a new eye for clothing that I didn't have before, and it made me wonder if playing Dress to Impress did actually teach me some real life techniques for finding good clothing. So that is the purpose of this video. I want to look at real life fashion stylists and see what they do and have learned that makes them professionals in clothing, and if Dress to Impress has any overlapping elements to reality. This is a totally original idea that no one has ever done before. Oh no, style theory, why? Cards on the table. I didn't know this video existed until after I finished my research process, but whatever. Consider this a second opinion, and let's see if our two different studies reached the same conclusion. For those unaware of Dress to Impress, let's recap it very quickly. Dress to Impress is a game on Roblox that has to do with fashion. When the game starts, you are given a prompt for whatever your style of clothes should represent, and you have 5 minutes to whip up the best outfit to fit that prompt, with the given clothing and accessory items strewn about, and you can customize those items to a wide variety of colors and patterns. After the 5 minutes are over, every contestant walks the runway to show off their clothing, where they are rated by the other players. The winners are the 3 contestants with the highest ratings, and usually represent the best fashion correlated to that prompt. Or they just have a mermaid tail and an outfit that has no relation to the prompt, but they're still number 1 somehow. But yeah, that's the gist. So how do we begin answering this question? Where I first started was thinking about fashion and what is fashion. My first instinct is to say that fashion and styling is an art, and like any kind of art, it can be learned, kind of like when you had to take art classes in school. So that's where we start. I mean, fashion is art, right? Well, yeah, it can be, but the answer isn't actually as simple as it seems. Art is generally considered a creative work or activity that is made for the purpose of an imaginative expression. It is true that fashion can be art because either the entire clothing or elements within the clothing could have been styled for the purpose of expression from the stylist, but there are people who would say that stylists are not artists. The reason for these ideas is that designers, stylists, or other positions within this niche fall under the same categorization where an architect would fall in. Architecture can definitely be art, but the creation of works from all these positions is not inherently created for the purposes of imaginative expression. These positions can be viewed as an industry where the purpose of the works comes from the customer, consumers, and a problem which the customer is paying to be solved, and as such the work, while using imaginative processes to create, are still ultimately forwarded by clients and consumers. Now, I am not here to answer this question, but this revelation did remind me of one important factor. Fashion designers and stylists are employees, and even more, many of them are college educated for this specific field. We know this from a few different articles and peer-reviewed resources that an education in fashion design is very important for acquiring these positions, but the US Bureau of Labor Statistics also shows that the typical entry-level education for these positions is a bachelor's degree. This is amazing information because it can help us hone in on what specifically stylists learn based on the data of their own work experiences, as well as reading through their actual class curriculums to see what skills are focused on and used within their line of work. Now, of course, different colleges have their own curriculum, but most of them should have significant overlap. However, for the purposes of this research, I used Parsons School of Design in New York, as it is consistently rated within the top 5, if not number 1, in many ranking lists, and has produced many significant alumni that have successfully moved into the world of fashion. So I went to their webpage and began painstakingly reading through all the course descriptions to sample the classes that are of use for this video. Not to say that the classes are worthless, but many are more advanced computer-aided design skills or more team-facilitated classes, but what we want specifically are techniques that correspond to learning good fashion specifically. This list of classes are the ones I found to be the most desirable for our interests, and let's quickly summarize what skills are learned. This first class dives into the exploration of the creative process. It makes you question not only what you are making, but why you are making it. What is its purpose, and whether the design you have in your head is the only solution to your goal, or are there other pathways which you haven't considered, whether it be better or worse. The second class is to introduce students to engage with a wide range of creative material, specifically in the form of texts, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and many others. This is meant to broaden your worldview to see other forms of expressions and ideas that are not only in the form of fashion. This is done for the purpose of being able to draw from different forms of inspiration and not become stale. This next class actually teaches you how to draw and create images using multidisciplinary techniques. This is obviously done so you have the ability to sketch your styles and designs as a rough draft, but it also serves as to acquire the eye for different strokes, techniques, colors, and other art-related skills. Being able to draw your designs also gives these students an ability to take risks and make mistakes because the drawings are considered a rough draft rather than a final design. These two courses here have to do with actually learning history and fashion through the lens of historical contexts. You may look at older timepieces and analyze what is it, how was it used, what made it appealing, as well as their materials and much more. Looking at fashion through history also allows you to notice the different fashion styles from cultures and time periods and how they influence the designs of their outfits. And lastly, this class here is used to teach students to analyze fashion on an individual and global level. These include topics in relation to how fashion relates to the body, beauty and image, subculture and style, creation and consumption, art and value, and so much more. These ideas are commonly referred to as fashion theory. With the knowledge of what these courses are teaching these stylists, as well as some more information from stylist experiences found from different websites and databases, we now have the list of what needs to be learned and practiced, and can see which elements Dress to Impress checks off. The first thing that Dress to Impress teaches you about fashion is reflection of your work, the why and the purpose of what you are creating. When you style and dress to impress, you're not just throwing together random pieces and seeing what sticks, but rather you are given a prompt. This immediately makes you ponder the occasion or concept for your outfit and then forces you to formulate an outfit that meets the prompt. This is similar to the same thing that is taught with the first course we discussed, having you think about your work and dig through all the experiences stored in your mind to analyze and pick desirable traits in relation to the prompt and incorporate it into your outfit. This is used in real life as well because the type of outfit you would wear on the night out may be drastically different than the outfit you would wear in a professional setting. One thing that was briefly mentioned within the classes but was more focused on in personal stylist accounts is the concept of clothing types, materials, and layering. Clothing types are important because different occasions, like seasons, require different clothing types. Much like the previous point, the prompts aid with this as well. The covering and fuzzy types of clothing you would choose for the winter cold is vastly different from the more breathable and lighter clothing for the summer heat, which is very applicable to real life. Unfortunately, since Dress to Impress is a virtual game, you can't actually feel the material or fabric of the clothing which you put on your character, and obviously, this is an important element in real life because fashion and comfortability go hand in hand. However, what is lost for in material knowledge is made up for in terms of layering. Since Dress to Impress only has a limited number of clothing items, means that for more complex and out of the box designs, requires the use of multiple different layers of items to create a pseudo element of what you originally desired. This is useful to your real life as well, because unless you own a clothing store, you will be limited to the clothes you have on hand, and being resourceful and being able to layer certain outfits to fit them for occasions that they alone would not have been able to accomplish is a very valuable and a very cost effective skill to have. Another useful thing that is done with Dress to Impress is having other players to compare with. When you create an outfit, you are obviously creating it with your own knowledge and accumulated life experience, which likely leads to repeated styles. However, you are given the opportunity to see other players' works and analyze things they have done similarly and differently to you. Perhaps there was an idea or an item they used to a certain effect that you never even considered. Well, now that you have seen it, you have broadened your worldview and acquired a new set of inspiration, which not only transfers over to your future games of Dress to Impress, but also within the real world. Sadly, there is not a coloring book in Dress to Impress where you can just sit and draw, which obviously means you aren't practicing any drawing techniques, but that doesn't necessarily mean you are not practicing other crucial elements. In Dress to Impress, you are obviously constantly trying on new clothing items, accessories, hairstyles, and so on, which obviously allows you to pair different elements to see how they blend together. With these items, you can also adjust their colors and patterns. This means you have the ability to change the colors of the items and find colors and patterns that meld together really well and create a positive viewing experience. This idea is a crucial idea in art that is called color theory. Practicing color theory in Dress to Impress allows you to improve your ability to match colors, which aids in matching clothes you already have on hand, as well as when you go shopping. Lastly, the most useful thing that Dress to Impress has, which may be the greatest benefit listed so far, is the ability to practice, practice, practice. While doing all those previously listed things are very good for learning, its utility would be lost if you only did it once a week, or perhaps even less than that. Dress to Impress, on the other hand, has very short games, with only 5 minutes to actually create the outfit, then a few minutes to rate the players, and then a small break before you repeat the entire process. That means within an hour of playing, you have likely cycled through 5 or 6 different outfits, and in every single cycle have been practicing everything listed previously, which leads to very quick growth, as well as gaining the eye for fashion and being more capable of separating the good from the bad. All this leads me back to my previous question of, does playing Dress to Impress actually teach you good fashion? The answer is yes, it does. Dress to Impress forces you to fit your fashion for a purpose, style, and layer accordingly, match the items along with the proper color usage, and finally, it helps you get a significant amount of practice while seeming as a simple, relaxing pastime. There are important caveats to this answer, which I feel are important to mention. While it does improve your capability for determining and creating good fashion, it's unlikely to put you on par with the professionals as there are severe weaknesses. This comes down to having skipped important lessons such as the historical view of fashion, the cultural views of fashion, and even receiving proper education on color theory that goes beyond just trial and error. Another issue is that the body type of the characters is standard, which means you are not receiving any practice on how to accentuate other features of different body types of individuals. There is also no education on fashion theory and being able to apply fashion on an individual level due to lack of real education and experience, as well as the global factors and how different societies view and utilize fashion. And this is also ignoring the potential growth of individuals learning through Dress to Impress due to their genotypes and reaction to external stimuli, as well as the plateau effect, which in short means that the effectiveness of a certain practice will diminish over time as you become more skillful within that field. Regardless of all these caveats, however, I feel satisfied with my answer, and I will confidently go around saying that Dress to Impress made me better at fashion because to a certain extent it did, and those who once made fun of my old style will now rue the day they ever decided to make fun of me. In the meantime, I'm gonna go back on Dress to Impress and fall second place to someone with a mermaid tail that doesn't match the prompt at all. But that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe, as that would mean a lot to me, and comment below what your favorite prompt in Dress to Impress is. With all that out the way, I hope you all have a great day, and peace out.